I pledge allegiance
to
to
the
the
flag
flag of the United States of America
and
and
to
to
the republic for which it
which
stands,
stands
one
one
nation,
nation
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with
with
liberty
and
and
justice.
justice for all. Welcome, Phil. The chair's
Glad to be here.
announcement. Under MGL Chapter 38, Section 20F, meeting being recorded. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, GL Chapter 38, Section 18, and the governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people they may gather in one person. This meeting of the Westport Community Preservation Committee is being conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder that persons who would like to listen to or view this meeting while in progress may do so by following the remote links listed on the posting online. An audio recording of this meeting will be posted on the town's website as soon as we are able. The first item of business is the approval of the minutes of December 14th, 2023, which have been distributed.
Tim Gillespie moves to accept them as written.
Is there a second?
John Bell will second that.
John Bell seconds. Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, I'll do a roll call vote. Hugh,
Hugh Morton, aye.
Dale,
Dale Weber, aye.
Tim,
Tim Gillespie, aye.
John,
John Bell, aye.
Phil,
Phil Weinberg, aye.
Betty Slade, aye. That is unanimous. So I'm ending this beginning of the meeting and going into the public hearing. As you all know, in December, I'll get to the public hearing. That's the second packet, Tim.
What do I have?
Go to the first packet.
What I've got here is an agenda, the Bicentennial Park meeting docs. What does this have in it? This just has all this stuff.
This is the second packet. Yeah.
This is it, right?
No, that's the minutes, yes, but
Oh, sorry.
we're looking for the,
Are they here? Where the hell are they?
keep on going.
They're not on here.
They're on the other pack. There were two packets that she sent, one
Well, let me,
packet.
I thought I had put everything that I had in there. Let me just see what I can find.
Sure.
If you go
Sorry.
back to the agenda, you should have it further down.
So while he's doing that, I'll just make the statement that in the December meeting, we reviewed several applications from the Historical Society, the Historic Cemetery Data website, the Town Playgrounds Project, and the Westport Affordable Housing Trust Project. So while we're waiting, I'd like to go to 3 and just say that at that meeting, I made a motion. Well, it was decided to ask the town council for their opinion on the application by St. John the Baptist for historical preservation of the Religious Education Center. As you all know, in 2018, the Supreme Court of Massachusetts made it extremely difficult for CPA funds to be used for churches in any way that's related to religious things, the sacristy, certain painted glass windows, religious education centers, etc. So although we have given funds from CPA funds to churches before 2018, we have not since that time. So this particular application from St. John the Baptist is for the building that is was at one time was the first town hall. And we thought that that was something that we would like to be able to preserve. But I felt that it was necessary we go to the town council on that, because I learned after a lot of investigation and then at the last meeting that that building is solely used for religious education. And as a result, we received an emails from the town council stating that they do not recommend that we push that particular proposal before town meeting because CPA funds basically cannot be allocated for that project because it is simply a religious education center. So that is why it is not on the agenda for the public hearing. Is that clear? Are there any questions? All right, so let's start with are we ready? Yes, we are. Thank you very much, Tim. For the Historic Society, the Bell Schoolhouse, I think we have a question from Hugh. Is it before this, we get to this, Hugh?
I just want to note that I need to recuse myself.
Okay, all right. So are there any questions about this project? We had a thorough discussion at the last meeting. If a couple of the applicants, if Jenny and Al want to add something to what they said the last meeting, that's fine. But I leave it up to anyone on the CPC. If any questions? Okay, well, it looks like we can do a vote to pass this on to the town meeting. I'd like to again inform the applicants that you will have to sign a grant agreement. I think you know that. You've signed a few in the past. And that once this project is completed, a historical preservation restriction will be placed on the exterior of the building.
Betty, I'll make that motion that we move it to the town meeting.
I have a motion from John Bell to move the Westport Historical Society Bell Schoolhouse project for $110,000 to town meeting. Is there a second?
I'll second that, Dale Weber.
Dale Weber seconds. I will now call for a vote. Hugh?
Hugh Morton abstains.
Dale?
Dale Weber, aye.
Tim? 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 John?
John Bell, aye.
Phil?
Phil Weinberg, aye.
Betty Slade, aye. Tim, are you hearing
Tim
us?
Gillespie, aye.
Thank you. That is unanimous.
Betty, Betty, really quick, they need a sign there that it's funded.
Yes, they always do put signs.
Where do I get one? I would like to do that.
We have a new sign.
Okay.
Thank you, John.
I can go by and pick one up and drop one off. They're in the town hall, correct?
Yeah, they're in the small meeting room on the second floor.
Okay, I will pick one up and drop one off tomorrow. Is that okay with you?
Jenny?
John, yes, just you can leave it around the side of the Bell School and we can set it up.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, thanks.
You have an old one though, don't you, Jenny?
Oh,
Pardon me?
I don't know where it is,
No,
Betty.
you don't know where it is. Okay. All right.
Okay,
Thank you very much,
Thank
Al. and Jenny.
Yeah, the old sign is part of the historic archive of the town. We're collecting them.
Okay, thank you and congratulations. And I hope you're at town meeting in case any question comes up, one of you or all of you. Thank you. The
Yep,
second
thank you.
application is the Historic Cemetery Data website. Are there any questions? I'm kind of representing the town on this one. Are there any questions on that project? Hugh?
Betty, I think, I'm not sure, but I think I need to recuse myself.
Okay. Okay, you don't have to explain why, Hugh. So are there any questions about that to me? Anything you want to know?
I move
Okay,
we Move it on to town meeting.
okay, Tim Gillespie makes a motion to move the project Historic Cemetery Data website for $30,000 to town meeting. Is there a second?
I'll second it. Oop.
Dale seconded. I call for a vote. Hugh recuses himself. Okay, abstains. Dale,
Dale Weber, I.
Tim,
Tim Gillespie, aye.
John,
John Bell, aye.
Phil,
Phil Weinberg, aye.
Betty Slade, aye. That is unanimous. Congratulations to the town for that hearing. The next project is Open Space Town Playgrounds project at Bicentennial Playground. Again, we had a very a careful and complete discussion of this, and I'm just wondering if there are any questions to Tim.
And Betty, I think I again need to recuse myself.
Okay.
I'm prepared to go through the whole thing again. I have a presentation, but I don't know if it's necessary unless people have questions.
If there are no questions, I'll move it on to the town meeting, John Bell.
I don't have questions. Does anyone else? No. Okay, then there's a motion by John Bell to move the project, Town Playgrounds Project Bicentennial Playground for $350,000 to town meeting. Is there a second?
Dale Weber, second.
Dale Weber, second. We'll go to a vote. Hugh,
Hugh Morton abstains.
Dale,
Dale Weber, I.
Tim,
Tim Gillespie, aye.
John,
John Bell, aye.
Phil,
Phil Weinberg, aye.
Betty Slade, aye. That's unanimous. Congratulations. That's a town project. It will not need a, it's sponsored by the Recreation Commission. It won't need a grant agreement. The next project is the Westport Affordable Housing Trust. I don't see anybody here from the trust. Maria, did we contact any of them?
I did send out emails to Leonardi, to Jim Sabra, and to Bob Barboza with the Google Meet link.
There is a possibility that they thought it would be later. Well, are there any questions on that? Again, we had Leonardi and Jim Sabra here
How
last
much are
meeting.
they asking for? They're not putting it on a regular submission sheet, so it's a
300,000. 200,000 for
Yeah.
land acquisition, 60,000 for rehab, and 40,000 for the housing officers.
I would move we advance it to town meeting.
Okay, that's Hugh. Would you like? Hugh had just 1 second. So you move. Is there a second for discussion?
I'll second it. Discussion.
Hugh Morton seconds for discussion.
I just want to raise the question. I believe this is the case, but just to be sure, that the funds, 300,000 and the other, are not expended so much as reserved for future possibilities, right?
Say that again, Hugh.
These are not current expenditures. The
No,
administrative is, but otherwise it's simply
the
reserved
200,000
for
is,
future.
yes, the 200,000 is to add to the 400,000 that we've already assigned them for land acquisition for a large project. This will make it 600,000 plus some of the funding they have, close to 800,000. so that they will be in the position that they could bid on land if it comes up.
Right, but there is no such project in the
No.
near future. And next year, the subject will come up again, and at that point, we can take into account the reserves and see whether it's necessary to do anything next year.
Okay. John?
Yeah, but I really don't have a question other than a comment. I just think it's a lot of money to approve without anybody being here for that.
Well, they were in the last meeting. Well, what we can, I have a difficulty that I'm now in a public hearing. I'm going to go out of the public hearing, you know, and then go back to a regular meeting. It is an issue with them. I think we should go ahead and vote though. And John, if you feel, Hugh Morton,
I'm just going to comment that the fact that this is simply a reservation, shall we say, is what reassures me, John, on that issue. Because before they actually going to spend it, now may be wrong on this, there may have to be a further approval. If not, then I worry a bit.
well, it's 40,000 is for the housing office. So that
That I
will,
understand. That wasn't, it's the
and
major amount that's sitting. If it's sitting waiting for another approval, then we've got another shot, as it were, or the town has. But if it simply is now, can be spent tomorrow, then yes, it's nothing, it's just a blank check does concern me.
Tim has a question.
It occurs to me that the way we have been providing money for the Affordable Housing Trust is basically been giving them something to put in the coffers to make their projects possible, so they have something to work with. And they're not going to have a possibility to do something and have no money to support it.
Yeah.
So it just seems to me as though it's not going to be money that is necessarily spent at all. We don't even know that. If they get a project that needs support, it will be there. Otherwise, we could sweep it back.
Well, Tim, the thing that you're absolutely right. The thing I was thinking about is, can they do it without any further action by anybody for a project that comes up, we'll say next week to be arbitrary? Or do we get a chance to review or react to what they're planning to spend the money for? I don't know the answer to that.
The answer to that, Hugh, is that they are an independent agency, the Affordable Housing Trust, as different from all the other applicants we deal with.
And that's what I was afraid of.
Once we
with the
turn
blank
the
check.
once we turn the money over to the Affordable Housing Trust, it is theirs to use. Now, the only funds that we have ever, well, we have said certain funds have to be used for certain things. In some cases we have not. In this, we have specific guidelines. They have to use the 200,000 for purchase of land, and it's not going to happen overnight. You know that. It could all fall through. For purchase of land for larger scale projects similar to Nookwood Village. The 40,000 will be for the ongoing housing officer, which we have been contributing through and since they've started. The other is for the rehab program, from what I understand, the pre-rehab. And that may not happen this year. But the money is there in case it does happen. One of the issues for CPC is affordable housing. It's a really tough category to deal with. And that's why they set up in all these towns, these affordable housing trusts, with the hope that some of those experts, and several of them are experts on that committee, in that fund, to try to find ways to get affordable housing and meet our SHI. It hasn't been really successful in Westport, except for Nookwood Village and 2 or 3 rehab projects, and then a couple projects that they've had using other funding. So that's my opinion, and I favor passing this on to town meeting. If town meeting has any questions about it, then the Affordable Housing Trust has to answer it. John, you have a question or a
Well,
comment?
it's just a follow-up to my comment. I just think it's a lot of money, and I think as a committee, we deserve a courtesy of at least someone showing up to represent them for this much money.
So Maria, we did send out, yeah,
I just confirmed that. I just went back to my email and I
Yeah.
confirmed it, yes.
so just for,
John, I think we went through this in detail last meeting, so the fact that we're not discussing it again, I think it is realistic to say, this is a blank check, but that's what the statute says, that a certain amount has to be committed to this area. And when I start off thinking that then next year we can take a look at it and they'll ask for more money, and we'll say, oh, wait a minute, you got a whole bunch of money, you probably don't need any more at this point, with nothing on the horizon. But that's saying, once we have the town meeting has authorized this, they've got the right to spend it. And I guess that's what the program, whether or not we like it, is designed to be, that we're simply a funding mechanism for their hunt. I guess my further thought is, if there's a really controversial project they have in mind, it still would have to be proved in various ways by town meeting.
yeah,
There would be a chance to raise questions, not CPC per se, because we already made the distribution, but as members of the town.
Tim,
Well, the 40,000 is just going to run the housing office. That's sort of a no-brainer.
Agreed.
And the other numbers are put on specific projects that may or may not have any expenses in the coming year, but they're put in a pocket. And if at the end of the year, nothing has happened on those projects, they don't need any more money for those projects, or we could sweep some of them back. But I'm guessing that every year they're going to come for 40 grand at least. They can't switch money from project to project to support the office.
Tim,
They
I don't have
they-
a problem with the office. The office is a built-in expense, so that 40,000 I wasn't really speaking to. And the prehab, well, it's not a bunch of money, and rehabbing things, if they have something to do, again, it's not a big deal, et cetera. It's the 200,000 being added to the war chest. And I would prefer there actually was something on the horizon that had some kind of projection of what their participation might be. But on the other hand, these things take time. So giving them some ability to say, we've got some money for a project that may come along. I'm not enthusiastic, but I guess I accept it.
so the rehab, a part of it is there's already affordable housing. And what they do is they give funding to make sure that affordable housing doesn't fall apart. It's basically to rehab affordable housing. So, I mean, it's very clear what that is used for. It does perform a service for low-income people. It doesn't add to the SHI, but it does keep that particular project, house, etc., working. I wanted to add that with the Affordable Housing Trust, because they are in that situation, we also have, we do grant agreements with them, as we do with the Historical Society, etc. We treat them as a private, or not a private organization, but we treat them same way we do private organizations. We also have to get an annual report from them, a fiscal report, financial report. They're audited every year. So I think that, John, the kinds of questions you're bringing up have been thought of by others, and these are some of the ways they come about doing it. So let's look a little closely at the grant agreement, John. If we look closely at the grant agreement and make sure that that reflects what the kinds of things that we're talking about today, okay? That may help.
I'm not questioning what the money's for. I would just like the courtesy of them being here for it. But other than that, I will support it to go to town meeting.
But I want you to know that, let you all know that I pursue them very strongly to get them to respond. It's really hard.
Well, we could fire a shot across their bow and just give them the 40,000 for the housing office, and they'll be here next year.
Yeah. We could, or we could just tell them what we think, and in the grant agreement state some of these things.
Yeah.
A stronger grant agreement might answer some of your, concerns. I have had the same concerns. When I first talked to them, they were asking for 629,000. So I said that wouldn't fly, and very strongly. And then all of a sudden they came up with the 300,000. So do I still have a motion?
I'm holding my motion.
Oh,
Make the motion? I did, didn't I?
yes. So you're
I'm staying with it. I'm
staying with it. So Tim has moved that has made a motion to move this amount of 300,000 for the Affordable Housing Trust of the Housing Office 40,000, Land Acquisition Development 200,000,
I think
and
I seconded it.
prehab 60,000 to town meeting. Is there a second?
I think I did already, but I will. confirm.
Okay. Hugh Morton second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, we'll vote. Hugh,
Hugh Morton, aye.
Dale,
Dale Weber, aye.
Tim,
Tim Gillespie, aye.
John,
Reluctantly, I'll vote aye. Yes.
John Bell, aye. Phil,
Phil Weinberg, aye.
Betty Slade, aye. That's unanimous. And I will, and we will, John, you and I will work on the, on the grant agreement.
All right. I just know we chased them around for like the CP3 stuff too. So
We chase them a lot, but again, they're volunteer committee too. I mean,
They
That's
do have
what-
a new organization right now and a new head of their thing. And I was fairly impressed with him at our last meeting.
Jim Sabra, yeah. He's very good. It's a good group. Leonardi is part-time, so it's hard to pin him down. That's part of it. Bob Barbosa, I think, is going to remain, but this isn't his field, and he's been the housing officer. They've had some issues, and they lost Liz. And as you know, the representative for housing is from the Housing Authority, not from affordable housing. It's from 1,000. And it turned out that Liz Collins was both Housing Authority and affordable housing. So things have changed. And I guess you know that Veronica has resigned from the Housing Authority. So as of April. And so she will then be resigning from the CPC.
Wow.
So I think we now have discussed the public hearing. I mentioned the town council's decision on CPA funding for St. John the Baptist. So I believe that we can close the public hearing now. Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So move.
Hugh Morton moves second.
Second, Dale Weber.
Dale Weber second. Any discussion? Okay, I'll call a vote. Hugh,
Hugh Morton, aye.
Dale,
Dale Weber, aye.
Tim,
Tim Gillespie, aye.
John,
John Bell, aye.
Phil,
Phil Weinberg, aye.
Betty Slade, aye. That is unanimous. Thank you very much. All right, item 4. So I drew this table up. Did I send it around today? I think I did.
Yes.
I did. Okay. So this is the table or something similar to it that will appear in at town meeting like it does every year. The data are based on that table that I gave last time, what's it called? The Community Preservation Act available funds. Remember, the first table we got was changed by the accountant for some reason. And so this is based on the second table. So the budgeted reserves are kind of what's left over from estimated reserves for, not estimated reserve, estimated fund revenues for FY25. If there are any questions about the sources of funding, why I did it this way, I could answer or attempt to answer. We've been recommended by the coalition and Common Sense is that you use the reserves up. You keep using the reserves up. They always come first. So we only had 34,000 in community housing reserves. So I put those in, and the rest of it has to come from estimated fund revenues. That's true for historical preservation. I used all reserves. In fact, I think I have a mistake there. I think I have a mistake there. Yeah, historic preservation reserves, 110,000. And since I used all reserves, historic preservation reserves should be 90,000. 90,000, which means that the budgeted reserves will be reduced by 18,000, so it'll be 110,000. You understand why I did that? Anybody have any questions on why I did that? How did I possibly make a mistake? Al?
Just a quick, and of course I'm new to this whole thing. The historic preservation reserves of 92. Does that mean that there's an additional 72 in reserve for other purposes?
Next year.
Okay, that's fair enough. I just wanted to make
Exactly.
I just wanted to make sure those two matched up.
That's
all.
right, next
Okay.
year.
Okay, great. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, I'll make that correction. We'll review it. I'll send it out to all of you. You look at it carefully. And then we are putting our article into town meeting. I think it's due the end of January. We will have to go before the Board of Selectmen, and we go before the, not all of us, just the chair or the vice chair or both, it's before the Finance Committee and talk about these. And I'm hoping that we can have people at town meeting who will represent each one of these projects. Maybe we'll get somebody from the Affordable Housing Trust to come.
I think we better. Or we'll table the whole thing.
Okay, any other business not reasonably anticipated? I just received an email just before we started. You know, the Bike and Path Committee that we gave $10,000 to. Maybe some of you weren't even on the commission, on the committee then, but we gave it for their study, and they've been moving along, and they're applying for a grant. And they wrote me a letter and asked if I would support their application for a grant. And I couldn't tell if it was just me or the CPC. And it was, as I said, it was only 5 minutes before the meeting began. So I'm asking you if it's okay if I write a letter of support, send it around to the, well, I'm not really supposed to do that, but is it okay if I write a letter of support for the Bike and Path Committee to get a grant?
Do we need if we need a motion, I'll make that motion.
Okay, John Bell
second it.
moves. John Bell moves. Timothy Gillespie seconds a motion to a vote. Any more discussion, Hugh?
Yeah, I just wonder if we can, if we can do this. Don't, I mean, the schedule is proposals come in the fall, as it were, and we reviewed them last meeting, and we reviewed them this meeting to go ahead to town meeting. Can we pick up something that we've never heard of before? That
Oh,
says-
no, this is nothing to do with the CPC.
Okay,
this-
that's fine.
No, this is just our support, just saying that we have given a grant in the past and we've supported this. That's all. It's just a letter of support for another grant. Sorry,
Okay.
I wasn't clear.
Who's the grant gonna come from?
Yeah, you have to, you had to ask me that. I'm looking and I hope I don't lose you. I might lose you if I look. I don't know. But I
All
will
right.
write the letter and send it to you. And if you say, oh my God, no.
I have no trouble with a letter of support.
But
I just
it's
was
not
curious
from
what they did.
anybody you're connected with you.
Yeah.
No, you don't have to abstain.
Sure.
Okay. So I think we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? I'll call for a vote. Hugh,
Hugh Morton, aye.
Dale,
Dale Weber, aye.
Tim Gillespie, aye.
John,
John Bell, aye.
Phil,
Phil Weinberg, aye.
Betty Slade, aye. That's unanimous, and I will write a letter of support and send it for you all to see. Okay, the next is the list of the correspondence. I haven't received anything. I don't think, Maria, we have anything. No correspondence. People do call in, not people, but applicants do call and ask questions, and that is a kind of correspondence, but unless they're, the kind of question that is, should have a vote, I go ahead and try to answer. Otherwise, we'd be here for hours at night. So the next is the list of bills paid. The first is the Community Preservation Coalition grant of, do we want to vote on, what I'll do is I'll have you hold any of them that you want to ask further questions about. But otherwise we'll vote on the ones that don't have a hold on them. So and this is for a long period of time, these bills. The Community Preservation Coalition dues, $2,875. That's annual. The Atlas Preservation Incorporate, we all know them now. They provide the supplies for the cemetery gravestone restoration. That's $160.84. The American Well and Pump Company, 4 different invoices came in. That is for the irrigation project of the WYAA, $41,010. The Vass Home Improvement LLC company, this is the final payment for the Council on Aging painting. That has been out there for a few years. Congratulations, John, you got it done. $2,196. Again, the Historic Grave Restoration, a reimbursement to Todd Batista, who he and Troy Rebello lead this project now for supplies, $73.59. The Buzzards Bay Coalition for the Snell Creek Conservation Restriction, which went through up and upper Main Road, $150,000. The Applied Geographics Inc. Came from administrative funds. We've been working, Theo from the assessor's office, Sharon Potter and I, for about a year on this to make sure that there is a mark on the assessor's records in red exactly where a cemetery is in Westport. It includes all the historic cemeteries. So we have 103 different marks. And that was quite a do doing that. But we had to have it done by GIS specialist. And we thought that it was, we've talked about this before at CPC. We thought that it was relevant to the cemetery project, so therefore it could be taken out of administrative funds because it's an administrative thing that we were doing. The MAG irrigation is again, another irrigation expense of the WYA, $40,000. The RP Valois and Company for the Bell House Bell Schoolhouse rehabilitation, one of the first bills in this project, $107,195.33. Again, irrigation, the remaining fields and surrounding area. Remember that irrigation included generators, digging wells, piping, all kinds of things. That was $29,700. A&A Masonry, it's a Council on Aging chimney work. I don't know why it says deposit there, actually, but because we did their roof, and when we did the roof, the problems appeared around the chimney, and it was partially due to changing the roof that we went ahead and gave them the funding to repair that, so the roof is complete. That project is now complete. M. Sardinia and Sons, a hot water heater for Town Farm. The Town Farm is a historical commission project. It's Garrett is in charge of it, Garrett Sawade, but Tony Millen's been doing most of the work. And this is for $9,000 for the hot water, for a new $1,675 for a new hot water heater. And finally, the East Bay Media is to publish the public hearing notice, $82. So they're the bills that have been paid. All of them have been paid.
Do you need any action by us?
I do. I need approval. I need the record of approval. I need a motion, Tim.
I move that we approve the bills as listed.
Okay, Hugh Morton, second.
I'll second it.
Okay, Tim Dusby, second for vote. Okay, Hugh,
Hugh Morton, aye.
Dale,
Dale Weber, aye.
Tim,
Tim Gillespie, aye.
John,
John Bell, aye.
Phil,
Phil Weinberg, aye.
Betty Slade, aye. That's unanimous. Is there anything else that anybody wants to discuss? We're going to get out of here within an hour.
I think that's an excellent plan. I would move we adjourn.
Second that, John Bell.
Hugh seconds, and I think everybody approves.